Hey y'all, it's Zach, the Gulf Coast Gardener. Thanks for dropping by the garden today. We're here in Mobile, Alabama, and today we're gonna try to work through most of our plant stash. I have a lot of plants that I have started from seed that I have picked up for great prices, and it's time to get them in the ground. So we're gonna do a little bit of a planting marathon on some random plants just here or there. So come along and garden with me today and let's make this garden gorgeous. So here we are with my birthday present from hubby. One of them, one of many, and that is a blue heron statue with the solar light at its foot. We'll go ahead and put this arborvitae fern that we picked up from the Mobile Botanical Garden sale. It's actually in the moss family. It's actually not a fern, which is really cool. Looks like a fern, but is not a fern. It is a moss. Wow. Zayden's over there playing with the sprinkler I had out. It's been a rainy day, but with the large canopy of these trees, I want to make sure we still get some rain. So I went ahead and watered them in. Hostas are coming up beautifully. Another one I'm thinking about getting in the ground, or hoping to get in the ground today, is going to be the Dons Variegated native azalea. Not 100% sure if I love this location just yet. Might move it just right there, but I have a deal that I planted out there. Here's our mail order plant stash. I definitely need to get this buddleia in the ground. She's languishing here in the wet. She wants to be drier. I need to get her in some sun that is well drained. I have the worst of luck with buddleia. I would like to get this in the ground. Lavender onion, allium. I'd like to get this Treasure Trove in the ground and this echinacea in the ground. Right over here, I need to get this grasses planted out and this salvia planted out, all started from seed, and then this globe thistle from Home Depot planted out, and get those planted out. Those are gonna go out front. All right guys, so we're out here in the front yard. Butterfly. She kept flying, sorry guys. Look like a black swallowtail. Before I show you where I'm putting these plants, let me show you this clematis plant. Clematis Liberty. So continuing our placements of our planting marathon, we have our Delta Moonlight crepe, our kaleidoscope abelia. We're gonna put our beach rosemary here. So we'll have the icy blue that flowers white in spring, the black foliage that flowers white in summer, and the kaleidoscope foliage that blooms late summer. So here we are in my part shade border. Right here over the front, I have planted the plum vein seed petunias. And so here and there, we're going to put our Treasure Trove rudbeckia and then our echinacea, which is the double-coated Everything Rosy. Right here is a pink and white camellia. This is a yellow rose. This is a multicolored apricot rose. Right there is a violet. So yes, that's why I put the rudbeckia there, because I didn't want the yellow on yellow. Now echinacea is interesting because the longer the day is, the taller the stem. Given that my days don't get very long here, they kind of stay normal. We're more of a short day place. That means it's gonna stay shorter. It's never gonna get very tall. That's why it's okay for me to kind of put it here in the middle. So we're gonna have our mounding petunias, our little echinacea, and then our rose. Now I do expect this Treasure Trove to get kind of big, so I'm actually gonna push it back a little bit. Excited for this Treasure Trove rudbeckia. And it was much more rooted in than the echinacea. Yeah, so I guess this year the peacock will have a yellow tail feather. I do believe there's a ginger right around in this area. Here we are in the front border, and I'm really excited because this is gonna be our cottage garden. This is what's gonna make our garden a cottage garden. I see so many people using naturalistic plantings and saying, hey, it's a cottage garden, but more on that later. So, planted the globe thistle. I planted 3 of these out of the 4 we potted up. One of the 4 came up with completely different leaves. So, since it came up with completely different leaves, I'm not sure it's actually a thistle, even though the root system looked the exact same. So I kept it potted up and we're just gonna watch it for a little bit. Over there beside the road, I planted the purple prairie flower. It's a grassland plant that sends up a tall stalk that's a purple hat almost like a purple sombrero that has the petals are like the rim of the hat. Very cute. Next to the crepe myrtle, we went ahead and planted the beach rosemary, and that's going to give us that icy blue color next to the dark burgundy foliage and the variegated foliage of the 2 other plants in that bed. And then in our cottage border, to actually make it a cottage border, we planted vegetables. Because a cottage border goes back to that time before mainstream nursery and plantsmen were really a thing, and a lot of plants were passed along plants. And gardens were born out of a necessity to feed yourself and your community. So while there were beautiful flowers like foxglove and hollyhocks and your traditional cottage flowers, there was also vegetables, there was also fruits. So that's why I was so happy to get our fruiting vegetable, the bell peppers and the eggplant into our front border today. Both of these are edible. The orange bell pepper is the Eros bell pepper, sweet F1 hybrid from Johnny's. It's gonna give us an orange wow factor in the garden, little garden jewels, you know? And then the Hansel and Gretel eggplants, one is purple, one is white, both long and slender, a unique eggplant. I planted those right in the front of the border, so you'll be able to just walk up and pick your dinner or your snack. In the backyard, we got some things planted. We planted the Dons Variegated native azalea kind of in the back of the woodland border because it can get up to 6 to 10 feet tall, with orange flowers that bloom first thing in spring before it leaves out. So I planted it around a whole bunch of herbaceous tropical perennials like the cannas and the bananas, so that when it's doing its beautiful moment, nothing else will be there. And so it'll just be a beacon drawing your eye straight to the back. But come summer, when its variegated foliage might burn with our filtered light, it'll have the canopies of those large tropical leaves to kind of shade it and protect it a bit. We planted the arborvitae fern, which again is technically in the moss family. I had planted that once before and it did not thrive. So fingers crossed that this one takes off and is beautiful in my garden. The Mobile Botanical Gardens has it as a ground cover in their Japanese maple garden, and it is just stunning. Let's see here. I think that almost wraps up our planting for the day. Oh, we also planted that illicium. That was a variegated, Dons Variegated illicium. And again, that's a Wyndon selection. Those are the owners of Kim's Nursery, who have been plant breeders since the 91, I believe. But they've been in the industry even longer than that. But this is so beautiful. Its stems and petioles are almost a burgundy color, with its leaf being a green and white variegation. I think it does offer, maybe it's a red flower, but the flower's stinky. Flower smells like fish to me. I'm not a fan of the flower. It is evergreen, so I tucked it in the back of our Japanese maple border, kind of in between a few deciduous shrubs like the Geisha Gone Wild Japanese maple and the chocolate fountain mimosa tree. Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for dropping by the garden today. I gotta get everything watered in now. Haven't gotten to everything I wanted to plant today, but there's always tomorrow. See you in the next one. Bye.